r/AskReddit asks. People who only need one alarm to wake up, where did you obtain this power? There's a certain amount of self-hatred required, you'll get there. More like, sacrificing momentary needs in order to make a better life. If you're not getting up because what you're doing will improve things, I can understand it's hard to get up. Change your lifestyle maybe? Oh, and I just sit up whenever my alarm rings, then I'll slowly wake up from there. I don't always have this power, but when I do I have a daily rhythm. This ensures my body is not surprised I wake up, and sometimes I even wake up 1 minute before the alarm. The other thing that helps is always immediately getting out of bed after the first alarm, so it becomes a habit and your body doesn't expect 5 more snoozes. This is all very unscientific BTW, but seems to work for me. Yeah, I'm not really sure how it works either, but I don't need an alarm. I just wake up at about the same time every morning. Even on later nights. My GF thinks it's insane that I don't need an alarm when she usually sets like 5. I usually have a lot of energy in the morning, so to her chagrin I act as her alarm most mornings. I don't need even one, I just wake up. And amp, #X200B, I'm 4 parallel universes ahead of you. Ha, same here. I typically wake up 3 to 5 minutes before any planned time to wake up. A lot of times I still have an alarm set but never have to turn it off. It's a gift and a curse. Anything that wakes me up will keep me up. Cats tip something over at 3 a.m.? Guess who's up for a good at 3 a.m.? Don't snooze. It feels too nice and you never want to stop. Just open your eyes and get out of bed. It also does you no favors. Better to just set that alarm for when you absolutely have to get up and get that full sleep rather than a shitty sleep 3 to 5 times in that same amount of time. Years of having a job. You must cultivate a certain degree of anxiety. Easier to get up and start the day than it is to contemplate your existence. Okay, so I think this is the closest to my actual situation. I only have one alarm, but I only overslept literally a handful of times. I'm usually so nervous about overslept, and my place in the universe, that would wake up a bit before the alarm goes off. I'm also a pretty light sleeper, so I'm usually hear my alarm. Only set one alarm and you'll learn to live or die by it. Adulthood. Nah, I've been legally an adult for some time now and it gives me the right to ignore my first 3 alarms by law. It's my goddamn constitutional right. The sheer anxiety of the thought of being late. It's called drinking a glass of water before bed, gotta piss bad in the morning. If I do that, I pee during the night. On average, I go bathroom 2 to 3 times during the night anyway, since each time I wake up, I have a drink 'cause my mouth gets dry. Gotta train yourself never to use snooze. Start by putting your alarm across the room so you have to stand up and walk to reach it. It may also help to spread Legos across the floor between you and the alarm. From going to sleep at the same time at least 8 hours before getting up. Consistency is key. People who have 30 minutes of terrible sleep interrupted by their 5 alarms, why? I set the alarm really loud, and hide it somewhere in my room. I then rush to get to it and turn it off, as to not wake up my family, and at that point my bed has gotten cold, and I'm awake. This definitely works best when paired with the fear of disturbing someone else. If you live alone, it can be easy to just let it ring until it turns off on its own. It's a learned thing. Once you know that one alarm is your only chance, you start realizing you better respond to it. And amazingly, you actually start to really wake up and feel awake when it goes off. I won't use a snooze alarm now. They make me feel crappy all day. You have to get the right kind of alarm. Mine is a golden retriever who licks my face until I take him outside and then feed him. There is no snooze. People who keep snoozing. Why do you prefer interrupted sleep for however long you snooze when you could just set one alarm at the latest time and get that chunk of time to actually sleep soundly? Ha, that's my biggest reason to have one alarm. I like my sleep. Right? That kind of fitful dozing just makes me more groggy, and nauseous to boot. I will wake up when it's time to wake up and not a minute sooner, thank you. I got there by first downloading an app that made me do freaking math, then I'd put my phone across the room so I had to get out of bed. Now I wake up before the alarm and just dismiss it. Worked great. I tried one of the math ones. It doesn't prevent you from turning off your phone. Unless I'm really tired, stayed up too late, couldn't sleep, whatever, I wake up 20 minutes before the alarm, and just turn it off when I get out of bed. The alarm actually wakes me up maybe 5 times a year, then I'm just wide awake and I get out of bed. It's called being responsible. Actually, I really hate traffic. I prefer to go into work really early and beat rush hour, plus I get to the office before most everyone else does and I can work quietly without interruptions for a couple hours. Then I get to go home early and have the rest of my day. It's easier to be frustrated by one alarm and get up, than to set multiple ones to frustrate me multiple times until I get up. I read somewhere that if you physically get up when your alarm rings, your body will wire itself to feel awake much faster after the alarm goes off. I read somewhere else that time you spend snoozing you can't get REM sleep, the kind that makes you feel rested. So if you snooze your alarm for half an hour, that's half an hour you aren't getting ready and aren't getting sleep. Well, I didn't want to do that, so I told myself I'd set my alarm a bit later and physically get up as soon as it rang. Took a couple months to work and damn, I fell off the wagon once, but overall it's been very helpful. Easier said than done and all, but I'd suggest having the alarm be some obnoxious beeping or something similar rather than music. And then try to force yourself to get up when you hear it rather than snoozing it. Eventually it will become a habit. Also might help to put the alarm out of arm's reach so you have to get up to turn off the obnoxious sound. Being a relatively light sleeper helps, but I'm known for hitting the button and going right back to sleep, so the key is to put the alarm on the other side of the room so I have to get up and walk to turn it off. I never got in the habit of setting multiple alarms nor ever hitting the snooze button. So I just have my phone at full volume and it gets me up every time. And to help with that, I have a consistent sleep schedule, so that I'm usually at least semi-awake by the time my alarm goes off. It's not a power. I used to have to put my alarm across the room because otherwise I would shut it off without even realizing it. Eventually I didn't have to do that anymore, but I know if I don't get up right away I'll sleep another 3 hours. I never really understood the snooze deal. 5 minutes of sleep makes it harder to get up for me, not easier. The trick is to force yourself out of the bed. As soon as that alarm goes off, get up. And to not set another alarm. Going to bed early enough, 8 hours before you need to wake up, go to bed the same time every night. This helps to build a routine of you getting 8 hours of sleep. Multiple alarms are worse. Waking up once sucks enough, doing it 10 times doesn't help. Sleeping an extra 5 minutes never made anyone less tired. You'll hate yourself a lot less if you get up at the first alarm and give yourself more time to wake up and get ready. You know you have to get up, you know you're going to get up. So get the fuck up. It gets easier over time. I give myself no extra time. I have 30 minutes to get up, shower, get dressed, feed the dogs, and get out the door. I know this as soon as the alarm goes off, the countdown begins. The kicker, I have to catch a bus that's about a 25-minute drive away, so the penalty is increased if I miss that. I set my alarm for the latest possible time where if I get up any later, I'm late. It's good motivation to get my ass moving in the morning. You just need to do it enough times and your body gets used to it. I set my alarm for 5:30. And wake up a few minutes before it goes off almost every day. Sucks to get there, still sucks to get up, but it's possible. Haven't had a good night's sleep in years. So any sound wakes me up in an instant. I used to sleep through alarms. But I found one app that wakes me up. It listens to you snoring and can detect when you're most likely to wake up. The alarm is also progressive, so it starts gentle, then gets louder, then vibrates the phone. It's called Sleep Cycle if anyone wants it. I recommend using it on an old phone. It requires you to be charging all night, which is not good for battery life.